This right here is the Shun Sora two-piece knife set. It comes with a 6-inch chef's knife and a 3.5-inch paring knife. Again, paring knives are meant to be held like this, and you use them to peel and stuff. And this is pretty much the entry-level knife set for their entry-level knives that you would get if you don't want to spend too much on knives, if you really just want to have the basics and then work your way up from there. As you guys already know, the Shun line of knives is considered one of the top-tier brand of knives out there. And for the most part, the cost of their knives signifies that. They sell really expensive knives. Their classic line starts at, let's say, like 75 to 100 bucks per knife at a bare minimum, and their premier is maybe another 50% above that. And for their really high-end knives, you're looking at 200 or 300 bucks per knife. A lot of other brands have started making entry-level knives, budget-friendly knives, and Shun Sora for a while didn't do that, and they eventually came out with the Shun Sora. So the reason that I love the Shun Sora, and if you guys have seen my videos, you know this already, the reason I love it is because they haven't really cut any corners whatsoever with this knife. A lot of the other brands, instead of using forged knives, they do stamped knives. Instead of having full tangs, they just do no tang that ends right there. They cut it to a different angle, they use worse metals, etc., etc. The Shun Sora does none of that. Off the bat, let's talk about the metal that's used. The Shun Sora uses VG10 steel, which is considered the gold standard in the knife making world. It is extremely hard, extremely resilient, and it holds an edge very, very well. So this is about a 60 to a 61 hardness. And on top of that, they then wrap it in a layer of stainless steel, and they weld it, which does a couple of things. Number one, you get this gorgeous wave pattern that I hope you can see. But number two, what it also does is it makes it very resilient to pitting, staining, chipping, things like that, just by virtue of it being wrapped in stainless steel. It is a forged knife, which is great, and the cutting edge is cut to 16 degrees, which is blisteringly sharp and the exact same angle that their high-end knives are cut at. So they don't do some crazy 20-degree angle that's a bit more blunt to save money. They still sharpen it to the same edge, they still use the same great materials, they still wrap it in stainless steel. On top of being forged, it's also essentially, and I say essentially because it isn't, it's essentially a full tang. It's a rabbit tang, which means the tang goes to about here instead of all the way down. But in use and in practice, that makes zero difference because there's no pivot point where you're actually using the knife. It's going to act like a full tang no matter what. It's not going to bend, it's not going to break. And that's great, I think. It uses a plastic handle instead of wood, but the plastic handle is great and it's a very comfortable handle. I like it a lot and it still looks nice. And they even add little touches like a little Shun logo in the end of the blade. So really, I think that just the way it's made, they aren't cutting any corners. A nice note about it is too that it comes with a 10-year warranty versus the lifetime warranty that the other Shun knives have. But I think, again, that's not really a point that matters because you're not going to have any problems with this knife to begin with. And after 10 years, any damage that would have happened to the knife that's covered by warranty at the 10-year mark wouldn't be happening regardless. You know, they're not going to cover you breaking your knife in half after 10 years because you've used it too much. They're going to cover things like manufacturer defects, which don't come up after the first few years to begin with. Final note, one of the reasons that I love Shun the most, this knife, just like all their other knives, comes with Lifetime Sharpening for free. So as you guys know, if you take your knife to a high-end sharpener, someone who does it by hand using whetstones and really does a good job, it's going to cost you about $5 an inch, which means that for a knife like this that's 6 inches, that's going to be about $30. For a knife like this that's 3.5, that's going to be roughly $15 to $20. And aside from paying $50, let's say right here, just to sharpen these two little knives, you still don't know what you're going to be getting. They might have the best track record, but they might just totally demolish these knives. With Shun, you send these to Shun. First and foremost, they look at it. If they see any problems, they throw it away and they give you a brand new knife. But second of all, they sharpen it to their exact specifications as the manufacturer, and they send it back, and it's free. I think it's a no-brainer. So I'm going to put a link down to these two below if you're looking for a entry-level knife set. Shun Sora is the way to go, I think. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, let me know. But otherwise, I will talk to you very soon.